Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Kogan. Drip.
Snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go.
Last night, I played Starfield for the first time in weeks, and I focused solely on the story, and the story was getting interesting. Now, I don't know if the story will continue to ramp up and get more and more interesting the further into the game we get, because now we're about 40 hours in. But it definitely was interesting last night. A whole new, like, enemy was introduced to the game that I wasn't expecting at this point. I wasn't expecting new enemies and things to be introduced, and they are, which is kind of neat. And now there's a new ongoing plot line and mystery that's happening. Oh, that's interesting. So I'm actually eager to play more Starfield on Wednesday night and see where this plot goes. I'm just not too confident that it's going to go somewhere satisfactory by the end of the game. But so far, that was a really cool twist and a new, plot line introduced last night, and I actually really enjoyed it. I ended my stream in a bad place because basically there's a situation in the game where someone's out to get you and you have to escape, but you don't know at first that this enemy, if you can believe it, is invincible. You think, oh, maybe I can fight them. So you start pulling out weapons and shooting, and what ends up happening is you're in the middle of a city when you're doing this, so there's collateral damage that's unavoidable. It's just going to happen. There's nothing you can do about it. You don't know you're supposed to be running and escaping. You think maybe you can fight this thing. So I unload into the enemy, and after about, 5 minutes of trying to fight it, I realized there's no way to kill this thing. Like, I've been trying the whole time. It's not going to die. It's just going to keep following me, so I guess I just got to escape. So I escape, and then come to find out, like, the entirety of the galaxy hates me. Oh, well, because you unloaded in the middle of that city, there was collateral damage. Now there's a million bounties on your head, and everyone wants you dead. And I'm like, now, wait a minute. Let's think about this for a second, okay? This is a actual main story beat, a main story plot line in the game, that this segment happens. It's scripted that this happens, that you're hunted and something's coming after you, and you have to escape. But at first, you don't know you have to escape. So, of course, the first thing you're going to think about is, let me try to fight and see if I can, defend myself. Everyone's going to do this. So why not, during this portion of the game, have a special element where you don't get bounties for fighting the thing because you're fighting it in a city? I just want you to think about how stupid that is. They knew this was a major part of the plot. They knew that most people would probably try to at least once fight back. And instead of saying, okay, let's suspend this element. This isn't someone outright committing a crime in the city. This is someone trying to defend themselves because there's something after them. And let's just make it so that this part of the game is fun. It's fast-paced. You try to fight it, you fail, then you run on to the next part of the story. No, that was too hard for Bethesda. That would actually have taken some effort to kind of like code that into the game. So instead, still have all the bounties and all the systems in place as if this story element isn't happening, ignoring it, right? Like, oh, someone's defending themselves from something trying to kill them. Oh, they committed heinous crimes. What are you talking about? This thing was killing everything. So what are you talking, like, what the fuck? It's just really badly done, in my opinion. Just like a lot of parts of this game. It feels like they laid the groundwork for something good, but they only did, like, the very base level work, and they never bothered to go anything past that base level of understanding of what the game should have been. Just suspend the fucking bounty system for 5 minutes during the segment. Then you could play through it, and then reinstate it after the segment's over. Is that so hard? Like, really, is that so fucking hard? It's like game programming 101. I could have easily told you, as a game director, I could have told you, do that. This makes sense. It makes the game fun. But I guess that's not what they were going for. Fun? Oh, they don't want that in Starfield. So, it actually is pretty stupid, in my opinion. So what's going to end up happening, probably, is I'm probably going to have to reload the game. Luckily, I did a hard save, like, right before that story element had happened. So I'm probably going to have to reload it and then play it differently, which is going to be stupid. For me, I'm going to tell you a pet peeve of mine. All right? As you guys know, when I play these kind of RPGs, I make important decisions, right? Sometimes you have morality decisions to make, gameplay decisions to make on your build or your leveling or whatever you're going to do. And 99% of the time, unless there's a very strong reason to not do this, I would always stick with what happens. I do not usually save Scum during these kind of games. I want it to feel like an honest first-time playthrough is an honest first-time playthrough where my decisions stick and there's direct consequences and repercussions for my choices and actions during my honest first playthrough, right? Did you know there are plenty of people going out there doing playthroughs of these kind of games? They don't do that. They literally, before every single major decision, they do a hard save. And then they'll actually do every option to see the different ones. And then they'll pick the best one and stay with that one. Talk about, you know, going through life being a pussy. I'm sorry, but that's a pet peeve of mine. If you're someone who's playing for yourself and you want to do that, I mean, that's fine. But imagine if you're doing a playthrough for a live audience or an audience on YouTube on demand, right? And you cannot commit to any choices you make. You have to actually always pick the optimal outcome for every choice. Like, what the fuck kind of going through a game is that? Like, that drives me bonkers. I remember even back in the day when I was playing Fallout 3 in New Vegas, I said to the audience, listen, when I make a decision, it sticks. That's the whole point, is that you have to live with the repercussions of your choices. And it makes the playthrough more interesting. It really does. And that really drives me nuts that there's people out there that will abuse the game system and just get around everything, you know? So for me, I don't like reloading. I don't, unless I have to. Like, let's say I'm completely out of lockpicks and there's only one, I have to go through a locked door and it's really tough to lockpick. Then I'll save Scum to get through there so we can continue on with the playthrough or whatever. But when it comes to a game like this, I don't like having to reload story segments and redo them because something didn't go my way. I wish there was a way to get out of the situation that I'm in right now, but it certainly does not seem like that, right? So, I guess when we play again on Wednesday night, we're going to probably have to reload. What else can I say? We're going to have to. I don't know what else to do. I hate that, but it is a pet peeve of mine, and I wish that they designed the game better. But it looks like we have to reload to go back before this chaos ensued. And essentially, now that I know that this thing that's out to hunt me literally cannot be killed, what's the point in even fighting it? Right? Instead, I'm just going to have to run. I'm just going to have to book it, and that way, hopefully, I won't, have no collateral damage and just get out of there. And hopefully then, it'll just continue on with the main storyline or whatever, and there won't be any issue, right? That's all I could think of to do to fix the situation. I don't know what else I should be doing, so, all right, anyway, so that's good, and I hope that you guys will join me for more Starfield later on the week, Wednesday night. I'm actually excited to see where the story goes at this point. I don't know how much is left in the main story of the game, because we do still have 2 factions and a few companion quests to do as well before we kind of essentially beat the game. So we'll see what happens. But Wednesday night, more Starfield, and we'll have to get out of that situation, okay?
I got the drip going. 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 It's like a faucet that's dripping. You can't make it stop. So what do you want me to do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button just in case I'm gonna have to clear? Like, this is what I mean, these dumb kids. This is what it is. It's dumb kids.